All right, how we doing today, guys? Kevin Bowen, what business are you in? Been seeing you a lot lately. All right, unmute yourself there.
Employee benefit consulting.
Nice. Where do you live?
Brentwood.
Oh, yeah. When you gonna come see? Have you come to the lodge before?
I have not, but that's on my list.
Okay.
It is on my list.
I'm coaching 5 people at the lodge today. Lucy, those 5 people paid 13 grand a person to be here.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you see yourself paying 13 grand, Lucy, to come spend the day with me?
Yeah.
Well, they actually stayed 2 days and they stayed here at the lodge. It's the first time I've done this. It's a concept called the Power 5. And it's really been fascinating, guys, because we've tackled their biggest complexities on the whiteboard. We have one-to-one time. We had breakfast together this morning. We're breaking down like what they want to do with their careers and their future. And it's the first time I've ever done this, but it's absolutely been a whole lot of fun. So I'll probably do some more of these, and it's more intimate. You know, we spend all day together. We have dinner at nights together. So really been a cool concept. Now I'm going to do something. I'm going to talk a little bit about this chapter today on chapter 9 in the book club. And I want to thank you for showing up for this. How many of you are reading the book and being consistent with your readings?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. Because I was really proud. I looked on Amazon last night, Lisa Galloway, and I've got 45 5-star reviews on Amazon. I did have one person that had a 1-star review. Got to have one hater somewhere out there, folks. So I'm like, it may not be 5-star, but it sure as heck ain't a 1-star. So that's just somebody hating on old Coach. But I told my wife, I said 1 out of 45 ain't bad. So it's all good. So today we're going to talk about something, and then I'm going to thank you thank you for writing a review for me, because that is powerful. What we're talking about in chapter 9 is hitting your targets. And this is something that's, I come from an athletic world where there was clear metrics and targets to win, right? Every night you knew, did you win or did you lose? So there was always this intensity to perform well, because it was embarrassing to lose. People could see the results of you losing. This was back in the day, guys, when people read the newspaper. Remember those days? So when I played a game on Tuesday night, the results were in the newspaper the next day. And I lived in a city where there was roughly, 100,000 to 250,000 people. It's grown significantly since then, but it was embarrassing. And it would be like putting your sales results in the newspaper for 200,000 people to see. And so it created an intensity to win. And what that did is it caused me to prepare and think. And it's actually a term for that called a defensive pessimist. So if you see me in the book, I refer to these 2 types of people. There's what's called a strategic optimist. And a strategic optimist is a person that shows up and generally believes everything's going to work out. This is more, my wife is more like this. She believes, hey, it's all going to work out. It's going to be good. I am more of a defensive pessimist. The pessimist, a lot of people think of a pessimist as a negative person, but in this context, it is just a person who thinks about all the things that could go wrong. What if we don't hit our sales targets? What if we have to downsize? What if we have to lay people off? What if this doesn't work? And so think of a guy like Nick Saban in Alabama. He is a defensive pessimist. So he thinks about all the things that can go wrong, which causes him to prepare. So it's not good or bad. Some people are strategic optimists and some people are defensive pessimists. There's no right or wrong here. But because of the world I come from, I think a lot about targets. And I actually believe what creates intensity is 2 things: timelines and targets. Okay. And I'm just going to show you how I create my targets, because when I started coaching business people, what shocked me is they didn't have targets. Okay. And remember, I come from the sports world where we practiced and we had to, we started off every day with a drill called the 5-man weave. And we had 2 minutes on the clock and you had to hit 40 shots in 2 minutes. And the reason I did that drill in the very beginning is because you couldn't make many mistakes. You could only make 1 or 2 mistakes in 2 minutes to do that. And so what it did is it immediately put people in a focused state. And when we didn't do it, we had to do it again. It's like, hey, we didn't do it, so we're going to do it again. And the players were like, we're not making mistakes. So it forced you to think. Well, then I started coaching business people. In the beginning, it was banks. It was retail. I was driving retail sales for banks, coaching them. It was mortgage companies, home builders, financial advisors. These are people I was coaching in the beginning, and it was the company hired me, not the individual. The company hired me and said, take these financial advisors and get more out of them. Teach them how to win. And I would come in, I go, what's our targets? And nobody had any targets. It's like, well, we hope we do a little bit better today than we did yesterday. And we hope we sell something. And I'm like, well, how many calls do you make a day? Well, we don't really track that. How many conversations do you have? What are your closing ratios? What's your churn of people that opt out? What's the touch system for past clients or current clients you have? I would ask all these questions and they didn't have any answers to these questions. And I would be like, well, how do you know if you're winning or losing? Right. And so when I wrote this chapter, it's like, what are your targets? What are your targets? And I want you to learn to have 2 types of targets. One is what we call an optimistic number. And this is a number that I think you should hit. Oh. Okay. It's a number I think you should hit. Okay. And it should be a number that you actually should be upset with yourself if you don't hit. It's not a low number, like a low bar number, like I'm going to go out and just do the bare minimum. It's like, it's a little bit of an aggressive number, but it's not out of reach. Then you need what's called a dream number. Okay. And so let me give an example. If I say my optimistic number is 6 million a year in my coaching company, my dream number may be 10 million a year. Now that's a pretty big stretch. That's the difference between selling 25,000 a day. But let's break it down. It's really only a difference between selling 25,000 a day and $41,000 a day. It's really a difference of $16,000 a day. Everybody see that? So it's really a difference between selling 500,000 in a month versus 833,000 in a month. So when you talk about it like that, it's not really that much of a stretch. It's like, we could do this. So when I was doing 6 million a year, I told my salespeople, this is easy, man. All we got to do is get to 25,000 in sales a day. If I got 5 salespeople, you just got to sell $5,000 a day. That could be one program. That could be one sale. Like I just told you, these people who are here paid $13,000 to come spend 2 days with me at the lodge. What if you sold one of those and your quota for the day was $5,000? Well, you were over by $8,000. So I try to keep bringing it down to where this is not hard. If you talk to enough people and you're good enough and you have a high enough skill, you can locate their dream and ambition and you can hit this number, man. You can. And if you sell $2 million of coaching, you make $200,000 of income for me because you're on a 10% commission. Plus I paid a base. So you're actually making more than $200,000 a year because you're on a base with me plus a 10% commission. And I said, I'm going to generate the leads. I'm going to give you all the coaching. All you got to do is get good at getting people on the phone, finding their problem and closing and conversion. And the more skilled you are, the more money you're going to make. Does everybody see that? So I started saying, okay, now let's keep bringing it down. If we want to do 10 mil, if we want to do 6 million a year, we got to do 500,000 a month in sales. And so to break that down, we got to do, 125,000 a week in sales. Let's break that down. We need to do 25,000 a day. Okay. Now to do 25,000 a day, what do we need to do? How many high value activities do we need to do? And I started saying we need to be doing 35 to 45 high value activities per day. And a high value activity. Now this is where a lot of people don't understand this. When I say that to people, people freak out and they're like, oh, that sounds like a lot of work, coach. I got to prospect all day. What if I told you that I typically prospect for about an hour a day and I get my 25 to 35 touches in? See, I have a 15-minute ride from my office to the lodge. I prospect on the way out. This morning I've learned to have high impact, short, high impact conversations. So I was talking to a prospect this morning. I said, man, it's great to talk to you. Thank you. I'm so glad they referred you to me. I have a very specialized skill set in helping people do this. I've got one very specific question for you. What are you trying to do? And once I know what you're trying to do, I will be able to prescribe what is the best path for you to get there. And what I'm really doing is giving you my 31 years of experience. That's how I can do this so quickly. You with me? A person walked up to Picasso, I think it was Picasso, and said, can you paint this painting? And what did he say? It's going to be this much money, $20,000. Took him 10 minutes. And they said, $20,000 for 10 minutes? No, it took me 31 years to figure out how to do it in 10 minutes. That's what you're paying for. 31 years. I'm going to take it further faster. So I have high impact conversations with people where I really find their ambition quickly, and I really find their problem quickly. And then I invite them to take an action. Okay. And the more certainty I have, the faster they go, this guy can help me. Let's move forward. Okay. We don't have to meet for coffee 7 times. We don't have to have long walks on the beach together. We don't have to talk. I don't have to hear your whole life story of how you grew up and what happened. I get it. Okay. So what I need to know is, what is your problem, or what are you trying to do? And let me see if I am the right person who can help you, and let me explain my value. Okay. And let's move forward. Right. You obviously have something you want to do. I believe I can help you. If you're on, so I may say on a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you about solving this problem? Are you willing to make an investment to solve this problem? Have you worked with somebody like me before? Okay. Why is this the most important problem you're trying to solve? See, I'm going to do some discovery to figure out, like, are you a person of action? Okay. Are you a person who has the time, the money, and the resources and the interest to move forward? Or are we just talking because we're just going to talk? And that's okay if that's what we're here to do. So when I set targets, I'm going to kind of outline how I set targets. Okay. If money changes hands when problems are solved, whose problem do I want to solve? What problem am I uniquely qualified to solve? How do I get in front of people who have these problems? Okay. So right before this, I was coaching tax accountants, and they were having a tax growth summit, and they brought me in to speak for an hour at that summit. And at the very end, the guy leading it, one of my clients, said, how many of you would go to Coach Burt's Lodge and spend a day? If we had a program where you could go to Coach Burt's Lodge and spend a day with him, how many of you would do it? Okay. And we got like 40 people raise their hand. Okay. Now, so here's the deal. Is that enough proof of concept? I spent an hour with them. I took a meeting with 88 people. 40 of them said they would do it. I mean, that's almost a 50% close ratio if they actually did it. Then we created a product on the fly. We didn't even talk about it before. It's just like, he's like, it seems like you guys are enjoying this. If I put it together something with Coach Burt, would you guys come to it? And they're like, yes. Oh, okay. See, we just made a sale. And if we had a landing page or a funnel, maybe we've collected $15,000 right there. So my point here is, when I wake up in the morning, here's the questions I ask to create my targets. Number 1, what are my top 3 level 10 opportunities? And I talk about this in this chapter. There are many thousands of opportunities available to people. What you have to do is teach your brain to come in and focus on the top 3, what I call level 10s. And these are big, exciting opportunities. Okay. Like right now, I'm building a greatness factory in downtown Nashville. Okay. It is a commercial structure. It's a creative real estate play. That thing could kick off as much as $1.9 million of cash per year. It could have a very high profit margin. That's a big level 10 opportunity for me. But let me tell you a bigger opportunity. How do I have 50 of those? Everybody see that? But to have 50, I got to have 1. So see, once I know my level 10s, now I'm negotiating with the bank, try to increase the draw. maximize the equity in the building because I bought it at 3.6. It's worth 7.3 built out. So now I'm trying to maximize the dollars to build it so that I can get this thing going. That's a big level 10 opportunity. Okay. I may have a strategic partnership with someone. That's a big level 10 opportunity. I may have I may see a big opening in the market based on what's going on in the economy right now. That may be my level 10 opportunity. But see, instead of waking up and focusing on what I call little bluegill problems, little small fish problems, making small money, I've trained my brain to say, okay, what's the big level 10s? Number one. And then I classify people into two categories, bluegill or blue marlins. Bluegills are small fish. They're not, it's not that they're not important, because sometimes when you go deep sea fishing, I only went once and swore I would never go back. That they took us out there and we caught little fish first. And then we used the little fish as the bait for the big fish. Okay. So here's the deal. I started saying to myself, okay, is that a bluegill problem or a blue marlin? And a blue marlin is a person. Okay. Now, I think we have some of Dr. Hotze's people on here today in Houston, Texas. I don't know who all they are, but I probably sent Dr. Hotze 10 to 30 referrals over the last two years, who's my doctor in Houston. I would be a blue marlin. If you got somebody who's sending you 10 to 30 referrals per every year to 2 years, guess what you should be doing? Spending more time with them, talking to them, having a flow with them, having a frequency with them. If you're a financial advisor and you got 10 people who have investable assets of 15 or 20 million or more, or whatever the case may be, they should be blue marlins to you. They should get more time, more attention, more energy, because like gravitate toward like. Association breeds assimilation. But it's funny how people don't do that. They come into the day and they treat everybody equal. Okay. And it's like, so I have what's called my top 25, which are my 25 greatest influencers in my network, who can introduce me to other influencers. Everybody see that? So one of my targets every day is to touch or tag or add value. So this morning I sent Brad Lee a message just saying, man, I was thinking about you today. Hope you're doing great. I know you got some new things going. Call me. We'll catch up. He just called me just a minute ago while we're on this thing, because he's an influencer. He may connect me to somebody else. So here's what he texts me back. Okay. This is one of our conversations this morning. He texts me back. I found a way for you to make another $1 million a month. Calling you today. I'm like, all right, it's going to be a good phone call. Now, here's my point. If I can talk to him and he talks to so-and-so and they talk to so-and-so, and this is how business is exchanged. So when I come into the day, my targets are, what are my level 10s? What are my level 10s? Number one, who are my blue marlins that I need to be connecting with? Who are some of my top 25 biggest relationships? And I don't talk to all 25 a day. I typically touch 3 a day. What am I trying to do there? Add value to their life. And sometimes they just need encouragement. See, just this week, one of my top 25 people, his wife had a miscarriage. And this was it's his new wife. They never had any kids together. They were so excited. And, I noticed on social media, made a post. So I immediately reached out to him, said, man, I'm thinking about you. I'm praying for you. I'm here to help you. If you need anything, call me. That's what you do for your advocates. Everybody with me? You celebrate with them when they have good times, and you're there for them when they have bad times. And big time networkers, people who create real value in the world, get this. They never forget this. See, I'm not waking up trying to sell people things. I'm waking up trying to connect with people and help them move from A to B. Everybody with me? And the guy who's worth 30 million has got problems, just like a guy who's just trying to make $1. They all have problems. So this was an emotional thing that happened for one of my friends who's a big time person. But he's still a person. Just because he makes a lot of money doesn't mean he doesn't have feelings and problems. Okay. So part of my strategy is getting up every day and I listen. Obviously I'm a faith-based person, and I listen to my inspired impressions. And I feel like that's God telling me to reach out to somebody, call this person, care about this person, encourage this person, help this person. So last week I was doing the Michael Burt School of Speaking, And a person came to one of my events and he walked up to me and said, I really want to go to that, coach. And he said, how much is it? And I said, well, it's $3,000. And I could tell it just his spirit, it just hurt his spirit. He's like, man, I just can't afford that. And so I was driving down the road one day and I had this impression. And I called Mark on my team and I said, call this dude and tell him I'm going to gift it to him. And he said he almost started crying when he called him. See, that was an inspired impression. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you think that guy will want to help me in the marketplace? You think he's going to go tell people? See, it's not about, can I extract $3,000 from the guy? It's about, man, I had an impression to help him. And so I've tried to learn, and when it comes to selling, I don't want to make selling this dirty process. I want to make it where, hey, man, I'm here. I have a talent and gift. I want to help you move from A to B. Now, there is a financial exchange many times, but when I wake up in the morning, I don't go, okay, who's got all the money and how do I go get it from them? I wake up and I go, okay, listen to what I'm about to say. Who can I help? Who can I help today? And sometimes I call people, Angela, and they don't want the help. And they say, I'm not interested. Or they say, no, I don't want to pay for it. Or no, I'm just not, you know, I've called on a guy in California that I know I can solve a problem for him 4 or 5 times with voice text. And I know I can help him, but I said to him on this last time, man, if this is not a big problem for you, or if you don't see the value in this, you're not going to hurt my feelings. You know, I'm going to put the ball in your court. Maybe you're really busy. See, I don't assume he's not calling me back because he don't want it. I just, maybe he's busy. Maybe he's got a life emergency going on. So I just say, man, I'm going to put the ball in your court. If this is something you want to do, or if there's something else you want to do with me, then just hit me back. Right. And I was negotiating with this person. It's so funny to me when people tell me people are difficult to negotiate with. It's always interesting. People tell me certain people, everybody told me Tony Giarratana in Nashville was difficult to negotiate with because he's this big developer. And I found him to be the most pleasant person to negotiate with ever. Right. I'd ask him, hey man, can we do this? He would say, I want to do this. And I'd say, would you be okay if we do this? He'd say, sure. That's how you want to do it. Everything I asked him, he said he would do. That's crazy. Then I was negotiating with this guy that's worth, probably $300 or $400 million on some real estate. And I would say, man, I'm just not ready to do it. And he would say, hey man, when you're ready, I'll be ready. He never guilted me. He never shamed me. He never said you wasted my time. He would just say to me, and I always thought that was just the coolest thing in the world. Hey man, when you're ready, I'll be ready. Coach, when you're ready, I'll be ready. And that's kind of what I do when I go out to, so if I call Diane Bourne and Diane says, no, I just don't want to do it, or the timing's not right, I don't try to guilt her into doing it. I just say, hey, Diane, when you're ready, I'll be ready. And I'll be here and we'll just keep this ball moving. So here's the lesson from today. When I wake up in the morning, when it comes to hitting my targets, it is truly a relationship game I'm playing. But it's structured. It's not random. Like when I wake up, I literally have people I'm calling. So I'm going to hit these 3 people that are on my help list. I'm going to hit these 3 people that are in my top 25. I'm going to talk to these 2 strategic partners. I'm going to follow up with these 2 inspired impressions I had. See, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to get to as many people as I can today with a minimum of 25 to 35 touches. Everybody see that? And a touch could be a voice text. It could be a video. It could be a phone call. Emails, maybe, but so many people don't read their emails today that I really like a voice text or a video or something. Phone call. Now, some people don't answer their phone. So if I call Alexander Jones and he don't answer, I send him a voice text. Hey, this is Coach, just left you an incredible voice message. You got to listen to it. Okay. And then if I don't hear back from him, I may go back later in the day and say, man, I just want to make sure you got this because there are some important things I want to talk to you about. And I just hang in there with people. And I typically go 7 to 15 touches, 80% of the time. So when do I make up my mind that I can help a person in the first 15 seconds of talking to them? Once I make up my mind, I think I can help them and they have a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset, I then typically follow up 7 to 15 touches. Now, on touch number 7, I may say, have you given up on this? I may say, it seems like you want to do this, man, but you're stuck on one thing. Am I right about that? Right? Or I may say, look, man, I'm going to put the ball in your court. I love you. I appreciate you. No hard feelings. I want to help you. I really want to help you. But when you're ready, I'll be ready. I'm not going anywhere. I'm still coaching people. So when you think you're ready, because see what happens is I called on a company for over, I think 2 years, and I never heard from them. They never answered. They never responded. I think I got one thumbs up emoji one time in 2 years. And one day out of the blue, I get a phone call. Coach, we got a problem. Can you help us with that problem? Everybody see that? And here's, you know what he said? If you could just teach our people to follow up like you do, we'll be in good shape. If they don't learn anything else except this one thing. Okay. Now, because you have to deliver, you know, I spend a lot of time delivering a lot of coaching. There's only so much time for me to prospect. So I try to hit that. I try to knock it out early, but prospecting doesn't have to be hard. When I'm here at the lodge, I'll literally go outside and walk. When I'm at my house in Florida, I ride my bicycle and talk to people. Like I want to take this to where this is measurable process of calling and cold calling and being miserable. This is very much a full contact sport to me. Right. And like I said, I'm just going to get out and walk around my property and call people and talk to them. And some people I can help and some people I can't. But I'm very serious about the target. And if I set a target, I don't lower the target and I don't make excuses when I don't hit the target. I try to figure out, why did I not hit this? Did we not talk to enough people? Are our closing ratios not very good? Are we not saying the right thing? Are we not solving a problem for people? Where in this process are we doing a poor job of closing people? Okay. Now, when we have a contracting economy like we have right now, it doesn't mean it doesn't mean you lower your targets. It means you get more creative in how you sell. It means you expand more. It means you follow the opportunity and the money. You don't say, well, we're in a struggling economy. We're in a recession. You just quit selling, which is what a lot of people do. They kind of freeze up. And they're like, well, I'm gonna wait for the economy to get back. And when it gets back, I'm going to be in good shape. I see a lot of mortgage originators doing that. A lot of real estate people, they freeze. Okay. And that's a new thing psychologists are saying people do, right? Initially it was fight or flee under pressure. Now they're actually saying there's a third modality, which is freeze. Some people are just freezing. It's like, I don't do anything. Now, I ask people this question. How many of you think that will increase the probability of making a sale by freezing? It'd be like me saying, well, my team's not very good when I'm a basketball coach, so we just won't practice this week. We'll just show up and hope that we win. No, listen to what I'm telling you. The less talented we were, the more we practiced. So if I'm not hitting my sales numbers or my targets, then guess what? I'm going to keep going until I do. I'm going to keep going until I do. I'm going to keep going. And I'm going to keep coming up with strategies so that, right? I'm going to keep coming up with my strategies so that I can do this. Okay. Now, does anybody have any questions for me as it relates to how I come up with my strategies? Any of those things that we're talking about today?
I do.
Okay, go for it.
It's Lucy. I love this about the target and the strategies. And there's something that I want to ask you, because I think that I myself have been there, maybe other people have. When we have the target and we're pushing on the strategies, we always expect it to work faster than it does. It always seems to take longer than we expected. Our mind kicks in and we start telling ourselves these self-defeating stories. How do we stop that? What do you recommend for stopping those self-defeating, self-deflating, sabotaging stories that our mind starts to tell us?
There's something called that we teach our students in our coaching program called the sewer cycle and the success cycle. The sewer cycle starts with one negative thought. That one negative thought produces a subconscious negative emotion, fear, worry, doubt. I call it going to negative town, and nothing good happens in negative town. That one subconscious negative emotion produces attacks stress on the body, which causes the body to constrict. In the sports world, we call it tightening up. You're too tight, which typically produces lower negative performance. Let me tell you what this looks like, Lucy. It's hard. It's hard to sell a house today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm mad at the Fed because the interest rates. Nobody's making any money right now. See, that's one negative thought. That negative thought takes you straight to negative town. It's called fantasizing and catastrophizing. You go from vivid visualization, mental creation, to actually having destructive thoughts, obsessive destructive thoughts. Now, the tool I teach is to teach people we don't go to the sewer cycle. Catch yourself and go to the success cycle. Guess what that looks like? It's going to be fun today. Somebody out there is looking to buy a house. They're going to use me. The language you actually need to use is third person. I am precise, selling, creating, powerful, explosive, right? The way you talk to yourself is very important. What if I told you that as positive as I am, and I write positive self-help books, I can become negative. So when my mind goes negative, and for a period of time, I had a lot of anxiety in the mornings when I first woke up. And so I had to use all these tools to train my brain to say, I'm not going there today. I am the leading authority at activating prey drive in people. I am a person of interest. People are counting on me to show up and grow up and deliver. I am at my best when I am creating. See what I'm saying? So I had to train. See, the brain cannot have two thoughts simultaneously at the same time. Like if I practice biblical meditation is where you read the word of God, you meditate on it to where it becomes part of who you are. And when you have a negative thought, the Bible teaches to put a fear in that thought, to take that thought captive. Now, what that means is I can't have a negative thought and a positive thought simultaneously. So when I have a negative thought, I take it captive. So you can physically go, I'm taking that thought captive. And I'm going to replace that negative thought with a positive thought. This is a form of sewer cycle versus success cycle. Now, the success cycle does this, produce positive unconscious emotions, joy chemicals. This is awesome. I can't even believe I get to do this every day. I can't believe I get to wake up, coach people at my lodge, and they come from all over the world for me to coach them. Like, this is the coolest thing in the world, right? See, now I'm happy. Guess what that does? Loosens the body up. Guess what that does? Makes it fun, exciting. Now the body produces because it's loose. See what I'm saying? So a lot of people right now are in the sewer cycle because they watch the news. I was doing a book signing at the CNN Center in Atlanta, Georgia once, and they had all on the screen CNN all the way around. 2 hours into it, I told my team, I got to get up. I got to move. I can't do this because it's negative stories over and over and over. I'm sitting there signing my books and they're talking about how the world, is going down the drain. I'm like, we got to move somewhere else because this is not positive for me to listen to this over and over and over. That I know it sells. I know that's how they sell. I know that's how they get people to watch the news, but I can't do it. So that's the tool that we teach people: sewer cycle and the success cycle.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to hear your perspective because I know a lot of people are dealing with that. And from what you shared today, I recognize that I'm a strategic optimist.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, we're still human, and our brain, our
100%.
mind lies to us with all these crazy stories. So I thank you so much for sharing, Coach.
Now, here's what I noticed. We're coming down the home stretch of this book club. I think it was supposed to be 8 weeks. I think it's turned into 22 weeks. But we've been going through the book. And what I'm seeing, guys, you tell me if I'm wrong, is I got one chapter left: prioritizing and personalizing your prey drive. Okay. So what I'd like to do, with your permission, and I'm sure you guys are going to be okay with this, is I'm going to come back one more week and do this one more time. And then I really have to move on. Okay. Cause I got my team's already on me because I overbook myself all the time and I'm squeezing it in lunches and I'm trying to do this. But if you will come back one more time next week, I'm going to do it one more week and I'm going to finish the book. Okay. Now, what you could do for me, that would be do me a solid, is if you have not done a review on Amazon or wherever you bought the book, that would be helpful. And I would appreciate that. But I will come back one more week next week. I'll tell my team to make sure they add it to the schedule. We'll do prioritizing and personalizing your prey drive. Okay. And if there's something else you want to do, I know many of you are in my coaching programs, but if you want to do something with me, We are doing 2-for-1 in my coaching programs right now. That's my version of helping with recession-proof pricing. So if you're interested, then reach out to me at coach@coachbird.com, because I coach people every single week. Okay. And yes, the book club recordings are available. I'll actually have Mark on my team put all those together and send them out to everybody. Okay. So if you want to do something with me, I don't care what it is. You just want to talk to me about something. You got an idea about something. You want to partner on something. You want to be coached. You want to come to something. Just email me directly, coach@coachbird.com, and I will get to you. Okay. All right. Thank you guys for a great week.